Baz, will you stop looking at me? You're making me nervous.
Hi, everybody.
So threatening there. Over my shoulder.
Are we live? I
We're
think
live.
Oh, we're live!
Oh, we are live.
Oh, that was really seamless, yes.
Thanks for the heads up.
Oh, no.
That countdown we asked for was great.
I missed that kind of. Okay, seamless. Hi, guys.
Hello, Laura.
Congratulations, the album, which I'm holding here. And also, I like that you've done this for me, just in case I got you confused. Is that why you sat in the order?
Yes.
Yes.
In case you're mixing our names
We didn't
up.
want to wear the pink makeup today.
Yeah.
But, you know, same thing.
And just for the record,
yeah.
Mark walked in and asked where should he sit about 10 times.
I was here.
And we kept saying, Mark, the album cover.
Yes,
The
right. So
album
that
cover.
does not clarify really. That's just you just
Right
kept
to
on
left.
saying the album cover, the album cover, the album cover. You
What
could
did
have
you
said
think he meant?
sit in the same order as the album cover and might have got the message across, you know?
The most important question I need to ask you is what are you looking at in the front of the album cover?
Oh,
That's really what
if we
intrigued me
could-
the most.
We're
If you
looking
would
at our
answer that.
future.
Is that what it is?
We're looking at the future.
How
like
does it
that.
look?
It looks bright today anyway.
It looks pretty good. Well, the
Looks
album is
pretty good
out today. Congratulations.
Thank
Spectrum
you.
is out.
Thank you.
I'm just going to quickly, before we kind of get into some questions, I was handed this before we went live. And this is a list of how you're doing so far on iTunes.
Cool. How are we
I
doing, Laura?
thought you said to Shane, what are you looking at? Like, what are you
What are you looking at? What are you looking
Start the
at?
fight.
Just don't look me in the eye, Mark, please. It's gone really well so far. Number one in iTunes in the United Kingdom, where we are now in
Right.
London.
Thank you, United Kingdom.
Well done.
Thank you, everybody.
Don't mention Brexit.
Don't mention, well, it's too late
This
now.
is the-
Should we talk? India, Indonesia, Ireland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number one in these countries, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You feel like you're going to get angry if I'm going to say number two.
Well, you just went India, and then I was like,
Number one. So
Okay.
these are all number
Okay,
one.
Oh, okay.
Malaysia, Mexico,
Yes.
Philippines,
Mexico.
Singapore,
Mexico, wow, cool.
South Africa, Sweden. This is quite
This
good.
is great.
great.
Keep going, keep going.
Vietnam,
Yes.
United Arab Emirates.
Yes.
wow.
Number two in Hong Kong.
What?
Listen,
what
Hong
happened
Kong,
there?
we
New
love you.
Zealand.
We love you.
Two in New Zealand.
Yeah, but you know what? This is changing
It
constantly.
was
So
number
this
one
has
in New
gone up-
Zealand last night.
It was
Oh,
number
was it?
one
So
in
maybe
the
it's back to number one
Where are we in Australia?
in Australia.
Four.
Yeah.
We were four.
We were
Yeah,
four in
number four.
Australia.
We're not.
Room for
they need to get
improvement.
the figure out of Australia.
Yeah,
Right.
number four.
Well, you can download the album right now anyway.
Yes.
Yes.
And this can actually be cheap. By the time we get off this, all this whole list will be number
We'll
one.
be number one in every
Oh, well,
country
might
in
be
the
asleep
world.
In the world.
It's number 12 in America, which was quite
It's
surprising.
number 12 in the United States, which is
Yeah,
huge.
okay.
Yes, that's pretty
And
cool.
number 8 in Canada.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank
This
you.
is actually a really fun game.
Well, no, I mean,
Where
it
do you
doesn't
think
say
it
it on
is?
there, but.
You know what? They printed this off and it said number 10 in Canada. And between me getting this printout and sitting here, it moved to 8.
Where are we in
2 million
Brazil?
people.
Brazil
7.
is. How important are these figures to you, by the way?
Very
guys?
important.
Ah, look, it's great. It's great when you see it, in countries that we haven't been to in a very, very long time. I mean,
Yeah.
America, we don't really kind of, see America as a territory that we go to a
I
huge
mean, number
amount.
12 in the States is
So
huge.
that's pretty
right.
cool.
Yeah,
And Canada as well,
absolutely.
When you take a break, you took quite a big break, and I know you guys have been touring, you came back with new singles, but when you take a break from releasing a studio album, and was it 8 years?
It's
No,
9 years
it's
since
9
our
years,
last
yeah.
studio
Yeah.
album, yeah.
Is there
And
that
our last
fear-
studio album we actually recorded in this studio,
Rack
where we are
Studios.
right now.
Can I point out, this is the same place that the Pogues record Fairy Tale of New York?
Is it?
Yes, and many
Wow.
other
This actual
amazing
studio
stuff
probably
has
as
been
well, 'cause
recorded.
this is the
Probably
main
one's
one,
the big
yeah.
Queen recorded in here.
Beatles do stuff here? Oh, I don't know. Beatles did some stuff here as well.
Yeah, the Beatles.
That's cool.
That's cool.
So pretty iconic. But does it feel scary to kind of put yourself back when you have taken that break? I know you've mentioned before, like other big bands, like Take That came back and had an amazing comeback. Do you see it and go, we just have to be bigger and better?
I think, yeah, it's definitely a template. I think for any band or a pop band to come back after a long time, I think Take That was a great example of how you can do it and do it very well. Obviously, Patience was a great song, and we feel, I think, coming back, Hello My Love was a massive, massive song for us, maybe even bigger than we thought it would be, and a massive impact for the album. But yeah, I think you have to aim high, and you have to try and be. We always wanted to be a better version of our former selves, and we feel this album is exactly that, and hopefully, well, so far the fans seem to agree. So it's a good start, and we feel it's fresh and new, and colourful.
Hello, My Love sort of, it's not even to do with, say, figures or positions in charts. It's more just, it's done something for us, that we couldn't have even dreamed would happen, We got very lucky with that song, and there's an essence to Hello, My Love that explains the essence of how we felt as a band coming back. And so, you couldn't have planned it, you know what I mean? We got lucky, we're very lucky, we feel lucky.
It's that thing as well, when you guys were, like you've been on tour for a while, and then you're going to go back and do the big stadium tours we'll talk about later on. But a lot of people are going to see you for the old stuff. Now for the next tour, it'll be for the new stuff.
Well,
That was
hopefully,
quite
that's the
exciting.
idea. I think, for us, when it comes to touring, the big thing for us is that we'll always do the hits.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we've had.
Thank you for that. Nothing worse than going to see a band
I know.
you like.
I know, their new album, nobody's-
It's very, very frustrating.
Even though the new album is fantastic.
Yeah.
I went to see Prince one time in Dublin, and like he's my favourite artist of all time and everything. But he said at the beginning of the gig, he was like, "If you've come to hear Purple Rain, you might as well go home now because I'm not doing it." You know.
Yeah.
I stayed for the whole night,
brilliant.
but definitely people left. You know, and the thing is, I completely get it. And for us, it would feel wrong to do a Westlife gig without all the hits. But also, it would also feel wrong to do this tour coming up and not do some songs from Spectrum too. So it's just
Exactly.
a balance. you
Good
know?
balance. It's all about the right balance.
We talked back in February when Hello My Love came out, and we're trying to get some ideas about how the album's going to go. And Nikki, before we came on air here, I was chatting to you, and you were saying you'd started the album idea. Is this everything you wanted it to be and more? When we talked back in February,
It's
what we
like
talked
making a
about
baby, basically. You know, it's
sexy music.
Yeah, yeah. But
That's
it is.
why.
It's like you put you kind of create this
put
thing,
what
and you don't. I'm tripping up now. You don't actually until you see it in your hand, and then you go wow, and you remember where you were at all those times when you went for the baby checks, and then you recorded that song, etc., etc. And it's been 9 years in the making. And I think it's the best album we've done this year.
Have you ever had an album explained to you like that before?
I know, I'm going to listen to this again. I think of it very, very differently.
A different way.
Yeah.
Speaking of babies, like you've had a baby, Mark, since last time I've seen you.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
This is Mark's first album as a father.
As a father.
You get
Yes.
emotional when you
You're
think
looking
about
quite
it.
fresh for someone with
Honestly,
a
I feel
baby.
fresh. We've got great support. Like both of us have been at home. Like she's 6 weeks now and a bit, and we've both been at home all the time. So we're lucky that we had that luxury that the two of us were there. So it's kind of it can be like one on, one off. So someone can go to the shop or have a sleep, and the other person looks after, and vice versa. But we also have like our mums and sisters. There's no shortage of offers of babysitting. Even the lads.
No, I'm not
Um,
babysitting. I've done
Nikki.
my babysitting.
Okay,
I've
well,
done
Nicky's
my
not going to
nappies.
babysit.
I'll babysit
Nicky lives in
whatever
a
you
different
want.
part of Ireland anyway, so I wouldn't
It's
have
not
asked him.
convenient for you.
Yeah.
But Shane and Cian are going to babysit for me. And,
No problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tomorrow night, I'm babysitting.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But is it nice to
Um,
kind of be back with the lads as a father? Because you're all fathers now and kind of share that experience.
Yeah,
Has that
definitely. Like, I
changed
mean,
you?
you look, the lads, even building up to when Layla was born, had so much really helpful advice. But also you can't really learn until you're right in the situation. And so the last 6 weeks have been amazing. But it feels really good now to be back at work as well, because that kind of balance. It's just been baby for the last 6 weeks. So it's nice to be back at work, and everything feels different. There's a different meaning to everything. And I don't know if I ever thought I'd be the person to say that, but it really does.
Yeah.
Everything you do is different. I'm here today now, and you think of everything not as myself, but I am now Layla's dad. I'm not I don't mean I'm not Mark anymore, but I think of myself as her
Yeah.
dad, and not
That
just this
responsibility.
individual.
But you've just
They're gonna get
inherited
choked
a
up
new
here in a
name, which
minute.
is Daddy.
It's so
Which
cool.
people
I
will
think
call
it's-
you. Like she'll call you now, Daddy.
Daddy.
You won't really answer to Mark anymore. It'll be Daddy. But as well as that,
Nicky, if you want to call me daddy, then
So, Daddy.
That's your own
Hey,
business.
Daddy.
Hey, Daddy.
But joking aside, isn't it
Daddy.
amazing though? Really, we said this in an interview yesterday.
Yeah.
Isn't it amazing that in the modern world we live in, where Mark can have a child and be a dad, whereas there must have been times in Mark's life where he probably thought that might never happen.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
it's an amazing, and for us even, we've grown up together. We've been in a band since we were 17, 18, 19. And now, we're, I'm 41, the lads are 40 and...
36, Nicky. Well,
I'm not 40 yet.
I'm 36.
And,
Give me
and
the
it
last
is, like,
5
we've grown up
Nicky's officially 2 years
as
older than us.
teenagers, men, daddies. We're all daddies. Who's your daddy?
Oh,
Oh,
Nicky.
let me Brian. Shane, you mentioned something there with this album. You just want to be the best version of yourselves, and this is why you feel like this is the best album, because I suppose you've all gone through it. You've been through so many things together, and to get to this point, do you all feel like this is a fair representation of what Westlife want to be and continue on to be? This isn't a greatest hits or a comeback album. This is Westlife continuing.
Yeah, as Mark kind of said last year, this is kind of Westlife 2.0. Everything we want to do, whether it be our tour last year, the album, everything now is building the future for Westlife and trying to be a better version of ourselves. And we know we can be better. And this album is, we say it's our best album, but it's definitely our best album since our first album, I think, which was, I think, our best album.
I thought you were going to say since our last album.
No, but it is though. It really is. It's got
First
tempo.
album you had years, like the first album they always say is like that's your whole youth. You've had like 20 years, 90
Yeah,
years, whatever
so
age you want
yeah.
to make it.
It feels like our first album again. Like we spent 18 months making this album, which is the longest we've ever spent making an album. We took our time, and we feel like we've got the best sound we could possibly get in the world. And it's a really fun album. You know, when you listen to it, there's no album on there, or there's no song on there that feels like an album track. You know, it feels like any song could be a single, which we kind of set out to try and make that kind of an album, and we did, and you know, we're very proud of it. Very, very proud of it.
Last time I spoke to you, Cian, I remember we were talking about you guys hadn't gone on, you know, the Croke Park and all these big venues, and there's so much love even before you go on camera. Like, guys like each other.
Yeah.
So nice.
Well,
I've interviewed
we have our
bands
moments.
and they don't.
We have our
But
moments.
in front of me, you seem to, even when the camera's not.
No, I think the big thing for us is that, like, you know, I don't think we'd be still here if we didn't like each other and if we weren't able to get on as friends outside of work. You know, I mean, I think, like, even last night, myself, Shane and Nicky went for a few drinks, and like, it was just a fun night. Like, we actually laughed all night long. Yeah, he
Mark was
baby word.
I
You
thought
know,
maybe that you were left out and didn't know about these
He
drinks.
didn't invite me, like.
but it is true. Like, and I even said that when we first got back together. I almost forgot when we weren't together how much we actually laughed as a band. And like, we genuinely do always laugh. There's always some sort of jokes going on somewhere, or, you know, Mickey taking going on somewhere, and we do have quite a lot of fun. And I think
Sorry, just rephrase that.
Did you go out in Soho last night?
well, everybody knows what that means.
Well, you never know.
So yeah, I think, you know, we are genuine friends, and I don't think we'd bother doing this if we weren't. You know, I mean, we've all got families at home and stuff like that, and, you know, I don't think we'd want to leave our families and go out and be in an environment that you're not enjoying.
But there is a definitely, to echo that, there is a bit of a boys' holiday about when Westlife get to London.
Like, the wives are watching, it's hard work.
Georgina rang me this morning and she was like, yeah, Westlife is a boys' holiday when you go across to London to
She's all
work.
stressed out with the kids running around at the minute going, I mean, she
It's like
doesn't
a
need
spa
to hear
break.
that.
It's like going for a spa break for 5 days. I was like, oh,
And the
I'm back to
nails
work now.
done.
It's going to be so busy. Like, and, you know, you're
Shane
watching
got a
Netflix.
massage the second he got to the hotel.
Literally got to the hotel. Massage, happy days.
Massage, Netflix, reading books.
They're
Literally,
working
it's just
really
like,
hard.
yeah.
They're
It's,
working really hard.
yeah.
And when you came to make this album, even like Nicky and Cian, I've heard in other interviews you talk about this, that you coming back in, kind of changing what your role is in the band as well, and having to deal with different things in the past where you kind of felt that maybe you didn't get your part as much as you'd like to, and maybe not having a voice because you're kind of put in a particular box and that's it.
Yeah, well, I mean, this album is definitely
Yeah,
different for
different.
both of us. We sing on every song, so
Yeah.
it's you know, and I think you know, look, you know, I think for the early part of Westlife's career, you know, we were very much kind of told like, this is the way it's kind of got to be in order to make it all happen, and you know, we would have been very much like, well, whatever it takes to make it happen. But you know, I think this time around, it's, you know, it's what the four of us want to make happen. It's what's important. You know, I mean, we're not doing this for, you know, to get success or to get any. We're doing it for the enjoyment and the love of it, and being on stage, you know, and kind of the performance of it. And
I think it's evolution as well. I think, you know, when we started as a band, we were 18, 19, we all wanted to be young singers and pop stars. And then you know, to use the phrase being put in the box, Mark and Shane are phenomenal vocalists. I'll never tell them that, but they are. And then, so every time we go to record a song, you know, the producer's gone, I've written this great song for Westlife, I have them in mind. And then it's the formula is set. And I think when you're in, particularly myself and Cian's roles in that band, and Brian to a certain extent at the beginning, you know, you kind of, you take the step back because it's all successful, and you go, you know, you don't want to rock the boat, which was a phrase that was always used to us, and I hated it. But moving into the new Westlife 2.0, as we said, we'd all gone away, done new stuff, presented radio, you know, won the Jungle, did Strictly, we all had solo albums. I think we built our confidence, and I think when we came back to Westlife, we were all able to go, we've all got so much more to bring now. And we probably always had that, but never really looked to use it like as we do now. And I think the happiness, you know, you want to go to work and be happy. And I think happiness is the most important thing for anybody in life. And I think when we all sat down in my kitchen, we managed everybody's expectations. I went, right, how do you see it? Do you want to do an album? Do you just want to do a tour? We all wanted to do an album. We all wanted the tour. And then it was like, okay, now the role of Westlife in the past has to slightly change. Not just for us from an ego point of view or a selfish point of view, but the fans love that too. Like, you know, and it brings more dynamics to the band and more colour and more. And I think now we dictate, but we you know, we have management with Louis now, Sonny, who worked with us in the label for years, and we're able to kind of, you know, have grown-up conversations, as opposed to you're a lucky 21-year-old, you know, you're earning great money, just shut up and be quiet now.
Yeah.
You know, it's not that anymore.
It's
you know?
true though. I think like a lot of it was based on fear. You know, in the past, people used to say to us, if you change it, you'll lose it, you know.
It'll all go
Don't
away.
change anything, or else you'll be back home tomorrow and it won't be an option anymore. And
I
we
think
realised,
people in life in general, like even if
Yeah.
they're musicians in any
You
job,
grow
will
up,
relate
absolutely,
to
yeah,
that.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I think part of being by ourselves as solo people, or not even in the music business, just being individuals over the last 7 years before we got back together, was we found our own confidence in ourselves, and we've come back to the table now as the bosses of Westlife. And you know, what I mean is that we're in control of it, you know, and we know that our wants and our wishes are not out of this world, and they're not crazy suggestions, you know. Everybody singing on the album makes it a better band, and we're not afraid.
happier band.
And we're not afraid to say,
We
I'm
should
sorry,
sing that
this
song,
is...
Mark, from Our Day Out. This is my bus, I'm the boss of the bus.
I've never heard of
I've been
that.
driving it for
Key, that was
16
a
years.
That didn't make the album.
That's going to be a
curveball there. I
B-side.
didn't expect that there. Now that brought me back in.
But you know, the thing is, that's the whole point, is that we the one difference now is that we're not, we're not afraid. We're the bosses of Westlife, and we have a fantastic
This is our
team.
band.
We have a
What a
fantastic
lovely
team
place
around
to
us.
be.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely. And the Westlife 2.0 comment a minute ago I was talking about is kind of echoes that. You know, we are a better version of our former selves now. Individually, we're stronger, we're more confident, we're happier as people. We have an amazing team around us now, and we don't want to, we want to tick every box going forward, and we want to give the fans what they deserve. You know, Westlife. You know,
And I think you can always, when you see a band or a musician who's in a really good place and they're to their full creativity and the full potential they can be, you get that back as an audience member.
absolutely,
Absolutely.
yeah,
As a
absolutely.
fan.
You know,
And see, the funny thing is, now that you say that,
Yeah.
that goes down the line. So, Shane could be really happy today, and he's belting out the first verse of a brand new song, and he's in his element. He's thinking, I'm loving life. And then you could come down to Nicky, who's doing a lower harmony, thinking, this is my role. Whereas if you make an album where we're all featured, to as much as we want to be, then when we're all in that frame of mind going on stage, we're all going, we're enjoying
Everyone
this
can stand
as
by
best
it,
we can.
equally.
yeah.
And you guys, you were so young when you got together, and the amount of people who would have killed to be in the band, and you all got in it for your own merits. And I think sometimes you can forget that.
No, absolutely.
When you're kind of busy,
Yeah,
you're
that's what
actually,
happens.
I got chosen to be in
And
this
everyone,
band.
people
Absolutely,
do
yeah.
remind you on a daily basis that you could be replaced in the morning, and all that kind of stuff.
What a
And
great way to live.
Maybe-
I said that to my boyfriend.
But you know what?
But you know-
On his toes.
But you know what though? But there
it probably
is-
was true back then,
But there's
whereas
no
now
Westlife.
we're the only people. Sorry,
Yeah.
yeah, we're
Yeah,
yeah.
there's no Westlife without the four of us. The four of us make Westlife, and that's it. Without one of us, it's not Westlife. And I think we want to be the best. We want to be the best band we can be, and we're heading in that direction at the moment. We feel, the last tour we did, we feel was the best tour we ever did. So next year's tour has to be better.
Well,
And
let's
we have
talk-
to raise the bar.
Well, you have raised the bar. 6 stadiums. Come here. You have played Wembley Stadium?
No.
Never.
No.
I was sure you had.
No.
No.
We played the
never.
arena many times. In fact, I think we have some record in the arena of
Yeah.
pop appearances,
Yeah.
but we'd never played the stadium.
Take-
And when we started, and we were probably at our main peak when Explodes at the beginning, like the way 1D and it explodes.
Yeah.
When we were at that stage in 99, 2000, 2001, 2002, we were doing Earl's Court and we were doing Wembley Arena. And pop bands weren't really doing Wembley Stadium. Maybe the Spice Girls were probably but they were
nobody was
one
doing
off.
it.
No,
Nobody
but
was
Take
doing
That
it.
hadn't done it at that
Nobody
point.
had done it.
And now, if you're big enough for you to be able to do it, it was an option. Take That, obviously, have done it quite a bit now. Obviously, Spice have done it again, and it just felt if we could do it. We're a good band like that, as in we're ambitious.
Yeah.
We can sit now as businessmen with the promoters, with the guys, and go, what do you think? We would love to do it. Do we want to take a massive risk? Not too big of a risk, but what? So it felt right. It's been the ride of the wave since the comeback has felt strong, and it was the right time to go for it.
I just think for us as a band, it's amazing to think that we've never done Wembley Stadium before, and here we are. This is our 15th record to release. 21 years later, and we're playing Wembley Stadium. It's
It's
pretty,
pretty cool, yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
pretty
I mean, the
proud.
thought that we can do is achieve something new,
Yeah.
and that we're still completely excited about it. Like
Yeah.
I can't believe we're about to play Wembley. Do you know what I mean? It's not like we're not used to this. You know what I mean? It's not normal. So to live a life where you've got all these mad dreams coming true all the time, 20 years later, once again it goes back to like feeling lucky and privileged or whatever.
Also, a lot of hard work has to go into that too. So it's August 2020, I think, is the Wembley Stadium game.
Wembley, yeah.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do? Because that's
We're going to blow it out of the water. It's going to
Yeah.
be amazing.
Yeah,
I mean, look, we have as
Here's
we've
the
been
fighting
saying,
the
talk
big
now.
stage. Are you going to go into the middle?
as we've said, we have an amazing team around us, and we have an amazing show producer who is also part of that new team. Brian Burke and Tom, who does our lighting. Like, I mean, we've just kind of got these people around us, and we've got a bundle of ideas in our own heads, and we just sit down and we talk about ideas, and we talk about what's achievable, what's not achievable. But at the end of the day, it does go back to the music as well. You know, we just want to make sure that we have an amazing set list, and we get on the stage and sing them songs. And you know, I think that's the one thing that is always interesting. Sometimes it's like, if you take away all the tricks, can you hold it? And I feel like we can. I feel like our audience wants to see the four of us singing our songs, and we can take away all the tricks, and they'll still have a great time. Now add the tricks, and it makes it more of a spectacle, and that's what it's about. But you know,
Spectrumical.
It's about the songs.
I was wondering how that was, Mark. That was brilliant.
And the other thing is, you know, thankfully, you know, we have a little bit of experience in Ireland with Croke Park, so it's not our first time to try and fill an arena and make that many people have fun. Stadium.
Yeah.
And make all those people have fun, you know. So we're just kind of going to bring that magic, hopefully, to the UK.
It'll be the gig of our lives.
Do you know what? There was a moment on this tour actually when we just finished, because we did 50 odd shows, and we were in Singapore Stadium, National Stadium, and it's mad to be doing it again, a second bite at the cherry, so to speak, and to be looking at it with, like, you know, 30, 20,000 people, whatever it was, and in the other side of the world, and you're just like, are we still, like, this is incredible.
They knew every word to every song. It's just like, I think that's something that I like about us, is that we still get like a fright or a surprise when we're over the other side of the world and people know our names and stuff, you know.
Really?
It's still a novelty. It's still like, you know, it's still mad.
It's
like,
not really us. We're looking behind our
Like,
shoulders,
who are
kind
you
of going,
talking to?
who are you
Yeah.
talking about?
Is it like, obviously you have your, you know, your hardcore Westlife fans who followed you throughout the years, but have you found in the last year, because of the new music, that you're getting this new fan base?
Hello, My Love, I think achieved that.
Absolutely,
Yeah, it
Hello,
certainly
Ma-
feels there's a slightly younger audience kind of coming our direction as well, you know.
Is it weird that people bring their kids then? And
Yeah.
Kids
like,
No, you know
Yeah.
what's really
Yeah.
embarrassing? Someone comes up and goes, Nikki, my mum or my granny loves you.
Oh my God.
God, we're at that
But you know,
stage,
actually, recently,
We get that a lot.
before we got back together, we got an email from the Westlife business management people, and they were like, oh, one of the big high street clothing brands, which I can't actually remember which one it was, but they want to do a Westlife t-shirt, you know, along with, like, I don't know, Def Leppard and Queen, and, you know, like all the kind of music t-shirts
Retro.
they do,
Yeah.
retro t-shirts. And I was like, that's kind of quite a milestone if we're now in that group of people or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
And that things like that, loads of little things that are happening started to get us to think, oh, maybe we should come back together, because there's a new feeling of nostalgia and want for Westlife, you know.
Exciting times. Speaking of the fans, they have been asking questions. I've just got a print out of some of the questions, which I might ask you if that's
Absolutely,
all
yeah.
right.
Questions from the fans
Answer
are
all
always
my
interesting.
leads.
Fans, so these are, you can't blame me for what I'm about to ask you.
Okay.
It's you guys.
And you have to be honest, lads, okay? You have to answer the fans
Always.
honestly.
I hope you guys have been nice now.
Okay. This is from, it's really confusing because I'm assuming these are like Twitter names. So
Yeah,
sometimes
right.
it takes
Oh,
me a
I
second
know,
to be
yeah.
like, Shane India. I think it's actually like, I think you might be their favourite.
Well, I'm not listening to this.
And they're from India, sorry.
Sorry, lads. Sorry about that.
I mean, are you working on your next album? I'm like, you've just brought this out, but this is
Honestly,
on to the next thing.
are you-
No, we're actually not. We're not working on our next album at the moment.
But you know, you say that, Shane. We've been talking about it.
We haven't.
What about songs
We
that
have
didn't
been
make
talking
it
about
then?
ideas.
It's always a natural progression to talk
Yeah.
about what might we do next or whatever,
Yeah.
but there's zero anything in place whatsoever, you know.
The songs that didn't make it though,
Yeah.
we're giving them to One Direction.
Who we're getting back together.
Yeah.
Nice.
You heard it here first.
Stacey Hill, what's been your highlight since reuniting so far?
Nikki, you got your hair dyed the other day, did you?
A little lick of paint once a
Can
year
I just
always
talk
helps.
about how good your hair is? Can we talk about how good Nikki's hair is in this? Look at the height.
It's a lot of spray. It's a lot of
That is,
spray.
it's
a
good.
quiff,
Like
isn't
it
it?
doesn't move.
I'm
There's
just still
actually,
delighted I have it at
there's
41.
scaffolding in there. It's called Dusted. It's a lovely dry product.
The highlights, I think, do you know, Hello My Love, the record, as Mark touched on earlier, written by Ed Sheeran and Steve Mac.
How many songs has Ed written for the album?
6.
Five.
Sorry,
No.
excuse me, 5.
Nikki, you keep saying
Sorry,
6.
I'm
If
thinking
you
of-
want
I was
facts
thinking
like
of the
that,
one
ask
wrote
Shane.
for me that I didn't tell you about.
Oh,
One
sorry.
didn't make
Nikki's
it.
solo single coming out next week.
No, so the 5 songs, but Hello My Love just took off, like it really did. And the opening night in Croke Park when we went home, well, most of the tour actually, but particularly Croke
every
Park,
night, yeah.
screens opened and are we off air or? Is it
Hi
done?
guys, I think it's still rolling, but
Okay, we're
keep
still on.
talking, don't mind me. My
So-
issue.
Yeah, and that moment,
There's a strange man.
83,000 people
Not strange,
in
sorry,
Ireland
lovely.
singing Hello My
This is
Love.
the fifth member of
And
the
no
band,
one's
by the way,
listening to
guys.
me, so I'm going to stop
Sorry,
talking.
Nikki, I'm listening.
Nikki, I thought it was brilliant. I was
Totally
listening to
answer.
every
No, I'm
word.
done.
No, it's just a man
No,
walked
hello,
in behind
hello.
Laura and
Hello,
started
hello.
fiddling with
It was
her
the best
head.
song ever, thanks Ed.
Do you know what though? That was probably the highlight. That was definitely probably the highlight of the whole band for me. That literally minute of the opening night in Croke Park was probably the highlight of the whole band.
Like the rest of the gig.
No, it was just incredible. We also like honestly, Mark was crying, and we looked up. Mark was actually crying. Like we were literally
Yeah, but
so.
he'd stood
I
on the
actually
nail
got a
or
bit of
something.
pyro in my eye.
We were so choked up by it. It was just like we looked at it and go, this is what, you know, after 7 years or whatever it is away, and all these people are here in our home country, and it was just like incredible to look at. It was the best.
See, like
moment
on the front of the album,
have
we
it.
always do this, especially at the start of our tour. We're literally like trying to be like heroic robots, serious. But my lip was kind of going.
Let the quiver go.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I love it.
We
I
need
was
to
trying
come
to
up with
like
a
be
better
like a
answer to the
robot,
question that
but
you
like
asked
your
about
bottom lip is
what
about
were
to
we
go.
looking at? We need to come up with a better answer.
Yeah, we're
We're
I
basically
can help
looking at
you.
a light. What happened is, right, we threw caution to the wind, and we're looking at caution flying away.
Well, do you know what we can do? Like underneath where you can leave your little comments and mentions, should we get like all the fans to come up with suggestions? What do you think they were looking at?
Yeah.
And we'll have a little look later on what they are. Keep it clean though.
We were
Okay.
looking.
Pretty Zoolander, isn't it? We're like we
It's like,
really are.
it's
very
like
Mount
pink
Rushmore.
We're
steel.
professional posers.
And you know
You're
that
very good
picture
looking,
of
all of
me,
you.
I don't know about all of us, is flipped, Mark, isn't it? You know the way you flip a picture? As in, I was actually looking that way.
Well,
And then
that's
you
right.
flip
We
me
actually were
around.
looking
Really
that way.
confused things.
Mark was the creative director on the album. Honestly, he did the whole thing.
Actually,
So, tell us,
yeah,
Mark.
I mean, the picture just
we
somebody
all
suggested that it might look better flipped, and I was like, what? And then they done it, and I was like, actually,
What do you mean? So you're all
Right,
faced
so we were all
actually
looking the other way.
We were looking this way.
like towards me.
Yeah.
We're looking this way.
You shot it that way. But then, you know when you flip a picture?
Oh yeah. Like on an Insta story or a Facebook
It's
story,
not-
you
you
can
didn't
flip
turn
it
your
the other way.
actual
Don't you
head.
look in the mirror? the way
Yeah.
you-
Weird though.
do
It's a
the way
mirror
you-
reflection.
Yes. That's,
Why is the album called Spectrum?
Mark chose the album title.
Mark's
Well, no, I
chose lots of
suggested,
stuff.
I
Okay.
suggested it. Like, first of all, you always want to, like, a word, like, we had an album called Gravity before, like a word that's sort of more than just, I don't know,
Something from physics class.
pedestrian,
something.
you know?
Yeah.
So we just try, and you'd think like, oh, what if the tour is called after the album? And, you know, then you're thinking about like huge gigs, and it can't just be like some little random everyday word. But we're constantly talking about, first of all, Hello My Love is a really good representation of how we feel as a band. It's like it's colourful and it's fresh and it's fun, and it's not just all about wearing suits and black suits and ties and standing up of stools and everything,
You do that
which we
well.
also love. But we just wanted to, the main thing we wanted to say is that we feel as young and fresh as ever, and
Colourful.
you know, we wanted a colourful name, you know, that represented that. And Spectrum was the first
Rainbow
thing.
just didn't sound as good.
The first thing that
No,
came up on
you're right.
Google was
Spectrum
Spectrum,
sounds
and we
like
went
a
for
Like
it.
Rainbow. Not great.
They were like good for t-shirts and good for hats. And
Yeah, it just makes sense, you know.
Yeah.
It's sometimes it can be tough to find a word that just is simple but says everything, and I think it kind of does. Yeah.
out of your previous albums, is there any album you look back on and go, why did we call it that?
I think the best album title we ever had was Allow Us to Be,
Be Frank,
Yeah.
without a doubt.
for the Rat Pack
So
album.
clever.
It was such an amazing
I think
name.
they actually hired a comedian to like send a list of
Sonny
titles.
actually did, yeah, no, Sonny.
that
I
true,
remember
Sonny?
hearing a comedian talk about that, and it was just referencing the album. And he went, so Westlife have an album called Allow Us to Be Frank. Well, let me be frank, it's short.
No, allow me to be frank. Okay?
So there's no album that you kind of go, oh, we shouldn't have.
Is there, lads?
Well, that's the name that we've got. Well, the first one was just
think
called
there were-
Westlife. That was always a bit
Westlife,
boring.
Coast to
But then
Coast,
you were new,
Wildroad.
these people knew what the
that was
name of the
reason,
band
right?
were.
Then we had what we Coast to Coast.
A lot of them were names of songs.
Turnaround.
Songs, yeah.
Names of songs are.
Actually, we don't regret any title of our album.
No.
It's good. Go on, sit
And we
down.
don't regret
No
any
regrets.
album. No.
And they're still
Where we
talking
are.
about it over there, though.
I don't like face to face now that you mention it. It sounds a bit silly.
Face to face.
Yeah.
Why was it called Face to Face?
Is this why you don't look at each other anymore? There's
Yeah.
no face to face after that.
Because we came
This is
face
kind
to
of
face
this
with
is
our
kind of a
fans.
this is kind of a little bit face to facey kind of as well.
Ear to ear.
As in ear, yeah, it should have been called ear to ear.
Shoulder
I like
to
Spectrum.
shoulder.
I'm happy
Do
you
you
have
like
it.
it?
Shoulder to
I would
shoulder.
have gone
Big-
with Rainbow, but look, you know.
Mariah Carey had an album called Rainbow. We can't do that.
Oh, yeah, that was a great
We could
album.
do that.
You
Would
know
you really
Mariah
have gone
well.
with an album called Rainbow Shit?
No, I'm totally joking again. Sarcastic.
I've got a question here from Amy Thompson. Were you nervous? We talked about this, nervous about coming back with new music, because there seems to be an excitement, but there must have been nerves going, actually,
look,
what happens
you know,
if it
it's
doesn't go
interesting
well?
because when you do, like, say, look at a review or something like that, you always naturally go to the negative stuff. I don't know why you
You
do.
take their name down, you find out where they
You know,
live.
In the black.
But,
I don't. I actually don't. I
do you know,
totally don't.
I
do it.
generally try my hardest not
Okay.
to, but I do. I'm interested to hear what people are negatively saying, and then you know if it's a fan that doesn't like it or if it's just someone just being, you know, an arse. I think like with this record, yeah, there was a little bit of nerves. I think we've kind of pulled away a small touch from what we've done before, in the sense that there's a lot more tempo on this record than we've ever had. But I think
but it's 9 years later, so
it is 9 years later. But
a new era.
I think also, like, you know, for us, we didn't deliberately go, okay, let's make an up-tempo record, or you know, we just basically went, let's find the best songs that we can find, and it just happened that a lot of them had more tempo to them. But and you know, there was maybe one or two people saying, oh, it's not the old Westlife and stuff like that, but everything's got to evolve, and so I think there's a little bit of nerves with it, but
I think it's a
fantastic
pop
album.
band though. We're a pop band. We're coming back after 9 years. We have to evolve. We have to make records. And from my time on radio in Ireland, I knew straight away on 2FM. What would Westlife? How would we even, you know, get on this playlist?
Are you looking at it from a different? Are you looking at it from? Because I
and I
know a
said
lot
that
of
to the
bands
boys
don't
when
have
I knew that.
playlists.
I think that helped the album, the way we made the album too, with tempo and stuff like that. I think that stuff like that did help, because you have to be on the radio nowadays, you know. I think it's very important.
Do you think it's up-tempo songs are on the radio more so than the ballads now?
Do you know what? Sometimes
easier to
even
get
less quality songs are on the radio, but they just have the right tempo.
Yeah.
And that's not stuff we're doing. But
Are you saying
I've
you could
seen
put a
it.
beat behind an album?
You absolutely
crap
can.
song and then it
yes,
would just be
I've
big?
heard them. I played them.
Nikki!
No, but I think it's true, and I think
Would
there
you care
was
to
nerves.
mention any of the
I think there was
songs?
probably more nerves when we released Hello My Love
Yeah.
than necessarily the album. Like, the album's made now, there's nothing we can do, we have to just put it out there and hopefully
And you've
it
had
does
good
well.
reaction so far
But
from the
releasing Hello
singles.
My Love, was
Yeah.
like literally, what are people going to think of this? What are, you know, and we didn't know because it was brand new music and a brand new sound as well, like we touched on there. So it's kind of, but it's exciting. The fans love it. It's probably
And
been
a lot
one
of
of our
songwriters
biggest ever
submitted
hits.
songs, and Keane came down to on the beginning of the tour and said, lads, have you listened to those few songs that were sent to us? And we kind of had and we hadn't. And he goes, he just pushed this one, which was Dance in the End.
Yeah.
And he says, we've got to listen. And we listened again and again and again, to the point where we were playing the demo to our kids on tour. They knew the song inside out before we'd even recorded it.
Yeah.
And it's on the record, Dance number 5 or 6.
Number 5, yeah.
And it's what I think is one of the best.
Do you all agree? Yeah, actually, before we kind of start recording, you all kind of
There's
dance
no song
up, down.
on it that I don't think anyone doesn't like.
There's no song on it that I'd take off.
There's a question here actually kind of comes into this from Hema Malik. I hope that's right. Is
Zayn
there
Malik, good to see you, Zayn.
Zayn Malik. I wonder why he was
Hope
up
you enjoyed the
there.
album.
Loving your
Bob.
new tune, mate.
Chaplin.
Is there a song on the album that sums up the album as a whole? Do you think Dance has a kind of...
Hello,
I think
My
Hello
Love.
My Love
Hello, My
has to
Love.
be the
Hello,
one.
My Love is
Yeah.
probably the one. Dance probably coming in as a close second. You know,
My Blood. My Blood is...
Do you know already which are singles and which aren't singles?
well, the first four are.
Yeah.
You know,
We know
I
the
think
ones that
when
are released.
When we get to kind of like, it's
Care what the
interesting
fans
because
think as
also
well, yeah.
somebody said to me yesterday, you know, I said, what do you think should be the next single off the album?
Yeah.
And they chose what was I think Without You, which is a very not a typical Westlife song, but I was like, well, but you know, like we need to try and hit a different audience, and I think Dance in particular would do that. You know, it's like we need to also, like, we have our Westlife fans that love Westlife, but you know, we need to try and always try and find new fans.
And-
We need to
and
spread
on
our
that point,
wings and fly.
On the recent tour, particularly at Croke Park, but I've seen it right across the UK as well, lads coming to the shows with their missus now that would have never, because they hated Westlife, or never cared for Westlife, and now the missus is going, I want to go and see them, they're coming back, and they go, okay, I'll go along with you. And those lads were having the time of their lives, because they would have known the songs, like, you know, a song comes on, you go, oh, I remember this one, oh, I remember this one.
They'll know the words.
Yeah,
of
and
course they will.
they're having the time of their lives.
Yeah.
So we ventured into a new audience, and then you touched on a younger generation. I think Hello My Love kind of ticked that
100%,
box
yeah.
as well.
I think
you know?
Dance will do that
did.
too.
Boxes down,
But another thing that we had to
one,
deal with on the tour was, for the first time ever, was bunches of lads that came on a night out to go and see Westlife.
Yeah.
And then they were starting to get a bit drunk and a bit leery, and then the security were kind of like, so we've never really had bunches of lads removed from our concerts before.
It happened.
And it happened this time.
How exciting is that?
So now it's the
We
blokes.
made it.
No, but
Yeah.
eight or
Bloke's
9 years
favourite
ago, that would
band.
never have
No.
happened. The guys would have never dared to come like in a group of lads, and it was great to
And
see
they
it.
were,
Like,
they were
if you're,
singing
like,
along to
pointing
like,
out and
I Have a Dream and Fool Again, with their fists in the air and pints in the other hand. And like they were getting kicked out because they were too drunk and everything. It was
You're probably
hilarious.
looking at it going, oh, I want to be down there. That looks like really good
That
fun.
gives a point. We finish soon.
Drink sensibly, but
But
come
you know,
again
that's
next year.
what Take That had on their comeback. And I think when we reference Take That, the template, you know, how do we get into, I guess, grown up pop now? And there were people coming for a night out. And, you know, whether you're the biggest fan of the band in the world, you know, it doesn't actually matter if you're going along for a night out and you enjoy it. And it's, that's what we like to do. People kind of leave in a happier mood than they came in, I guess.
Yeah, you don't want to leave it in a worse mood.
No, that's
not ideal. Do you think, because the music industry has changed so much in the last 10 years, even with record sales, everyone's going out on tour. You have to go out on tour. Like, you have to be a touring band. Do you find that you kind of have to bring more to being on stage and to those tours, or what the audience demands? Because there's a lot of people touring at the moment.
Yeah, the level of show has to be better. Yeah, without a doubt. And I think
We have to be better.
I suppose we're always, a lot of people know us, let's say, for a song or for the success or the number one thing, or people always talk about that. But
And they know it's for the success, that's how they know.
No, the whole number one, 14 number one thing.
No, but I mean, people always introduce us, they've had this or they've done this.
He definitely has the biggest head on the album.
They've never, but we want to be the great live act,
Yeah.
the great, you want to see their show. Yeah, they're a good band, but you want to see them live. You wouldn't believe what they do. We want to be that kind of a band that people talk about our live shows more. And I think last year was a great start to doing, getting there. So that's why next year and the year after or whatever.
Back in the day, bands like U2 and stuff, everyone used to anticipate what are they going to do next with their live gig. They used to really push the boat out and stuff. But I think pop acts are now starting to do that, Like Pink, everyone talks about Pink and the way she flies through the air. Everyone was talking about Taylor Swift's latest
Coldplay
tour.
was the one that I went to see.
Coldplay, of
Lasers
course.
and
So,
the
so
lights.
now it's like, these gigs are now like, they're taking on a new lease of life. People don't just stand on the stage and sing. It's like, what are they going to do with this? What kind of stage will they have?
There's a theme,
And it's not just your U2s and stuff. It's now all pop acts. So there's a higher expectancy for us and for everybody. But to be honest, that's right down our street, because we've always wanted to put on the craziest, biggest shows in town, basically.
Yeah, and will there be a theme then? I'm assuming it's Spectrum. Is there going to be like colour involved? Or?
Well, yeah, like
I'm sure that will be in there.
Do you want
I don't know
me
whether
to
it's going
help
to be
you guys with any
designed by
ideas?
Laura Whitmore.
A nice rainbow. No.
Designed by Laura.
There you go.
Is that your pitch?
That's my pitch. Sorry.
We just
I
put
need
a
to
nice
work on it,
rainbow
sorry,
across the
lads.
top.
Rainbow is coming back in. You know what I mean?
Get Mariah.
You know what I mean?
She'll be back again.
Mariah's coming as well. It's going to be great.
Unesthetic Fish. I don't know your real name. Hello, Unesthetic Fish. Hi.
That's a really nice name.
Unesthetic fish.
Yeah.
Unesthetic.
So an
Unesthetic
unesthetic fish.
Oh.
So
that
it's
even
not
make sense?
aesthetic.
We'll have to work that
Opposite of aesthetic.
That's definitely a weird Twitter name, but I love it.
We love it. We love it.
We love that.
An
They
invisible
ask.
fish?
What did they ask, Laura?
I'll tell you right now, Shane. Can we expect another guitar solo from Cian on the new UK
Hopefully
tour?
not.
Oh, Nicky.
Keane's guitar collection is getting really big because he does it every year. And
It took us a few years to come onto this, by the
And
way.
Keane's actually a very good guitar player, but he never plays it from one end of the year to the other until the tour comes. He goes, lads, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to get a lovely little white Les Paul or something made.
Yeah.
And then you go to his house, he's like, oh, that's that tour, that was the Gravity
I
tour.
was
that
in
the
Keane's
Coast to
house,
Coast
what, 3-4 months ago, maybe longer, and I walked in and he said, come on, show me my music room. And I walked in and I was like, look at all these guitars. It's like David Clapton's house. And I was like, I paid for that, I paid for that, I paid for that.
He's got green ones, blue ones. I'm going, this is a serious collection. And
And he goes, but see that
you
Les
want to
Paul
see
there?
the collection that
That was
Nicky
$2
Byrne has
grand.
of leather jackets. So it's like it's the
That
same.
costs more than the
Wardrobe.
guitar.
It's business wardrobe. It's wardrobe.
Nicky's sparkly shoes cost much more than the
That's
guitars.
what
Nicky's going to, he's going to set up a leather shop.
And I don't
a
look for Les
leather
Pauls
jacket shop.
anymore.
Do you know, I'll tell you a funny story real quick. So on tour, you get literally clothed from top to bottom. So boxer shorts, socks for different looks,
That's
right?
pretty normal.
And
Shane's La Prairie makeup costs more than my guitar.
yeah, that's true.
Oh, Cian.
I don't wear makeup.
So
What are you talking
we're
about,
in quick
Cian?
change. We're in quick change.
Okay.
I'm
We're in
putting
Prairie
on
now.
boxer shorts.
Okay.
And I get it's like a football dressing room. You get
Yeah.
your microphone and you get your boxer shorts and you put them on. I look over. And I have these white from
M&S,
Primark or
M&S.
M&S,
Which
whatever.
are
great
other
brands.
brands.
All
They're
brands.
other brands.
Of course, done stores, they're all brilliant. And then Keane's putting on these lovely Dolce & Gabbana Calvin
Dolce &
Klein.
Gabbana? Calvin Klein?
Now,
I would
keep
wear
in
nice
mind-
Calvin Kleins on a regular daily basis, but on tour you kind of just
No,
go
you'll
with.
go with whatever.
So I'm going, what? And then he goes, yeah, I just put down on one Calvin Klein. So we
wait
were
there.
getting 4 or 5 quid jocks, and he was getting Calvins for the tour.
But did you not say at one point, you were like, no lads, these are actually from the Coast to Coast tour. They were in storage. They were in storage.
Buy cheap, buy twice. You buy a pair of Calvin Kleins the last 20 years.
So the rider changed. Everybody wants
I
Calvins
did see a
now.
couple of old bears, like there was a couple of bears there.
I did have a pair
There was a
of the
couple of
pink
bears
ones.
from the Gravity tour.
Yeah, they're hot
Okay.
pink
I was like,
boxer
I've
shorts.
seen them like 10 years ago. He's like, you know what I mean?
do you know what? I really want to see the list for the next tour of what you each put down.
Well, we're all going to have Calvin Kleins and we're all going to have
But
the
we all,
Prairie
wore
makeup.
we all wore Marks and Sparks this year.
It's good.
No, I wore Calvin's.
Yeah.
Oh,
I wore
Ah, you
Calvin's.
see? Roles are reversed.
See?
Right, I've got a question here. The album's called Spectrum, out today. This is from Fiona Stinton. If you were a colour from the spectrum, what colour would you be and why? Deep. I like it, Fiona.
I'd be red.
I'd be blue.
I love red.
Why?
I don't know, I just
Is
love
red
red.
not an angry colour or is it a romantic colour?
Colour my water.
Danger,
Hey.
anger.
Is this your water? I think it's actually yours.
Is there red?
That's grand, I can't reach it from here.
I'd be red, yeah. I don't know. Well, we all have colours on our microphones, you know, like individual colours. I'm red,
I'm purple.
you're purple.
I'm blue.
I'm green, white, and orange.
Nicky has a real.
Yeah.
He's very. We all are Irish, are very patriotic, but
Yeah.
Nicky
He
is.
so
I mean, what gave it away with the
Nicky-
shamrocks on the
Nicky
cupcakes?
has like.
Nicky made those cupcakes.
In-ears with
I'm
Irish
surprised he
flags.
hasn't had the green, white, and orange flag tattooed on his
Nicky-
If I was
Yeah,
a
they
boxer, I'd have green, white, and orange gum shield
Nicky's,
as well.
you absolutely would. Nicky's house is painted.
Nicky,
green,
you
white,
made
and
these
orange.
this morning, did you?
Yes.
Nicky
I
has a
think-
green telephone box in his back garden.
I
That's
do.
how he.
Irish.
You know, hang on, you'll get this, because you're from Ireland. You know the
I am.
old telephone boxes? Nobody uses telephone boxes. So I have an actual old, the ones you
Like
used
a
to see in the
telephone-
street.
with the call cards and
In
stuff.
the back garden, green.
No,
green and white.
No, that's like
No,
the
you need the
90s.
money.
We're talking about like
Oh, but the money,
1960s and 70s.
But
Like,
you have it in your garden.
In my back, down my
For
back
what?
garden beside the barbecue.
because he's
area.
Irish.
Exactly.
Do you
For
know?
telephone.
For
telephone.
what? Yes.
Yeah, on telephone.
F-O-N, yeah.
Telephone.
But what do you do with it?
Are you telling me you don't have one in
So
your
you go
garden?
out to the telephone
Oh
box
yeah,
and go
sorry.
I think Chino, my dog, sleeps in it. I don't know, but it looks cool down the back.
Not to get
down
too
the back of the garden. I love it. That's
And
Nicky,
do you
is
know
it
what
a
I love?
normal
Do you know when
telephone?
you've made it and they're like, you know, if you live beside near somebody who's like made it and quite rich, like, well, you know, they've got a hot tub in the garden. Do you know Nicky Burns? He's got a telephone.
a telephone box.
That's gobshite, Nicky Burns. A telephone box.
Colin Fowlin there making calls. Have you seen anything?
Phone box.
I was going to say, okay, what's the most extravagant thing that you've treated yourself to since, you know, like, it doesn't have to be extravagant. It can be like, okay, you've got yourself a phone box. Is there any?
Actually, my wife bought it for me for my 40th.
Oh,
I
then
can't
it's
make the
lovely.
phone
I
box.
think it
wanted
really,
it.
it's the colour scheme and everything matches. Like, I think it looks good. I said, well, the picture that you put up on
It's
Insta
green,
net.
is
It's
it?
a lot cooler than what the boys have in their back gardens, isn't it?
What have you guys got?
I don't have a phone box.
No, in fairness, Shane has the view of the Atlantic Ocean.
Oh, you
It's
win.
incredible. It looks straight to
It's nicer than your phone box.
It is
definitely.
a
You've
bit
got
nice.
America.
Yes, I'm looking at New York,
Lovely.
which is lovely.
Tina's a mountain. What's the mountain
What's
called?
in your garden? It's a new
Ben
game.
Bulbin.
Well,
What's in my garden? Do you know what I bought
You
recently?
don't know the
actually?
name of the
Do you know what I
mountain?
bought
No, I
recently?
do.
And
I
it cost me
just took
€5 and it was amazing. I like bringing my dogs for a walk. So I have two dogs and one of them's very fast and one of them's kind of a bit slower or whatever. So I got
tranquilizer.
No, I got a lead for the dogs. That
treadmill to
Has, no, but
get
a
them
lead, right, that has two leads going off it.
Really?
Best, like you're literally walking with one strap. You know the way you're trying to hold two straps.
very
So I'm
good.
like that, like flat out down the road. What's the crack?
Such a rock
And
star.
I literally
Gone to
feel
his
like
head.
Sorry,
I'm
can
like
you
that
just-
going. This is
How do you walk
this is
down
a
the road?
good
Yeah,
boy.
what's this walk
Flat
about,
out
Sean?
like what?
I'd be like that, like.
Everybody's.
And I'd be going, yeah. It's one lead, by the way. You might notice it, but it is the
You
best.
might think it's two. It's not.
€5, and I was like, probably the best thing I've ever bought.
But if one's going
Ever.
faster than the other, does it
No,
balance
they
it
have
out?
to balance. They have to work it out between
Is it like
themselves.
Santa's sleigh? Like the reindeers kind of.
You're like,
Do you know what?
Yeah,
Prancer.
and Rudolph at the front.
That's it. Yeah,
Love it.
similar.
I don't even know what question I asked to get that answer, but I'm really
You were
happy
talking
with
about the
it.
back garden, but
Oh,
you know
yeah.
what? I didn't, because he's got a mountain, which is called Nothing Array. Ben, whatever. And
Bulbin, as everyone
Mark,
finds.
Mark has live, real deers come down to his house.
Actually, you know at the
I
moment.
saw one the other night when I was going up the driveway. Literally jumped
He's
in
in
front
the
of me.
forest, like it's amazing.
Yeah, they're there. They're there every day.
And badgers.
Narnia.
What else have you got?
No, but
Squirrels.
actually at the minute it's like I think it's called rutting season, but the stag is coming down. The stag comes down and he's looking for a girlfriend at the minute or a boyfriend. And I think he has multiple partners actually. But
I love it. It's so good.
no, but he comes down and it's actually quite scary because like you can see all the deer, but the stag's like he hides and stuff. He only comes down in the dark of night.
Would he give you
And he
the
makes
eye?
this
Like,
noise. Honestly,
Marky's looking okay.
he taps on the window.
If only he had a telephone box,
He
he could
actually-
make a call.
he speaks like Scooby Doo.
But you played it for me the other night. It was like,
Genuinely, if you go on
That's
YouTube and
terrifying.
Google a stag's mating call, it sounds like something from a horror movie. And so we kind of lock the doors, and I'm trying to see him out the window, but you can't ever see him.
But genuinely, would he
And-
attack the house? Like, would he go like?
I mean, if you cornered him, then I wouldn't like to be you.
He's a big lad.
oh, they're huge. Like,
massive,
yeah.
I think you should sample that in a Westlife song, just the mating call, and then put it through. But how good would that be?
Yeah, because we're going to go very experimental for the next album.
We could dance.
Do you know what? If you put a
gonna be
beat
called-
behind it, you'll definitely get on radio.
We put big part of that. I love it. Question here. We've got two more questions to get through.
He's
Laura
very dear to my heart.
Aycott. Who can sing the highest note out of the four of you?
Mark.
Probably Mark.
Well, Nicky can screech one.
Oh, actually,
Not
No,
actually-
Nicky can sing 3 notes
I
at the
can't
same
do it
time.
today.
Actually,
Oh, you probably could. Then.
Actually, he can
It's the mating call.
harmonise
That's
himself.
Nicky's meeting call. Georgina. She's in the phone box. Georgina, I'll be out in a minute. And on that note, guys, thanks a million for coming to see us today.
I can't remember if we could do any other questions after that. Guys,
great.
quickly, for those who haven't downloaded it yet, why should they download it? And a message to your fans.
Well, look, it's a great album. You know, we've really put our hearts and souls into it, and we think anybody who likes pop music will really like this album.
We give it 5 stars.
Yeah, it's called Rainbow.
And if anybody didn't notice, we did sit in the order.
Yeah.
Mark was confused, but we did.
And I know it's confusing because they're facing the wrong way.
Oh,
but
let's do
that's-
it.
No, this is actually the
Let's
way
do it.
you
Oh, we did
you
do it that
actually
way,
do it
yeah.
this way. It was flipped. And then anything you want to say to the fans who have already made it
Thank
such a
you for
success?
everyone who downloaded it and made it number 1 or number 2 or number 3 in all the countries all over the world. We're absolutely,
Any country that made it number
So
4,
grateful.
he's not
Forget
grateful
about
for.
yeah, Australia, America, sorted
Honestly,
out.
there's some countries coming through today on online that we can see that are putting it up in their charts, and it's really pleasant to see them kind of coming to light or whatever. And I mean, to me, I just in the back of my head, I'm thinking, wow, we could actually end up going to Australia or all these places if there's enough of a demand. I'm not saying we are, but if there's a demand for
You're
these
dangling
places,
a carrot there. We'll
I'm
go back
saying
if.
show your love and we will come.
I want to go to New Zealand and I want to go to Australia again, Mark, so let's do it. Let's do
We
it.
need
And
to
it's
tour
not
these
for
places
holidays.
again.
We're coming there.
Also, we're on Children in Need tonight on BBC One. We're performing My Blood, which is
11
which is
p.m.
exciting, and
Dance with
also
the Stars.
Strictly Come Dancing on Sunday night.
So you're
on
gonna
the
be
Zone Show.
everywhere?
We're doing a little medley on Strictly Come
Are
Dancing.
you going to do a little bit of a dance? 'Cause you
little
can
bit of a
dance.
That's an exclusive.
That's going to be our next single. Dance. Maybe.
Thank you very much. If you have missed the beginning of this, you can watch the whole thing again.
It's a
And-
really good interview.
And it's a
It
great
really is.
interview.
It's
And then what
fun.
did we ask the fans to put down what you're looking at?
What we were looking at.
If you can think
Oh,
of
What are you
okay.
looking at?
What-
We like
what
to
are
call
you
this
looking at?
segment, What are you looking at?
Westlife, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you,
On
Laura.
that note,
Always a pleasure.
We always go down places we don't mean to, but it was very intriguing and interesting. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Thanks,
guys.
guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.